The lead-off track on the record, Thanatos, we actually wrote that in a sound check in Rochester, New York, the main riff. You know, I was checking guitar sounds and that riff just sort of popped out of nowhere. We just jammed on it for about 20 minutes, and the main idea for the song just kind of fell in place, like the drums, everything. Weeks later, I sort of came up with like the other parts of the song, so that song sprung fully formed out of our consciousness pretty much spontaneously. Lyrically, I draw heavily from just like journal entries and essays and things like that. The lyrics from that particular song were just taken from random pieces of writing that I put together. Thanatos, the name, is the Greek god of death. Once again, death being a huge topic on this entire record, but it deals primarily with the transformation, like referring to death in this sort of Plutonian sense, where death symbolizes the end of life, but also a transformation. Coincidentally, the album title, Savage Gold, is in that song. So once again, tying together the idea of ascension, transformation, physical to more ethereal forms. That song was one of those quick songs we wrote right away, and when I sat down to write the lyrics, just sort of all fell together, oddly enough. Unfortunately, that's not the case for every song on the record. The second song, Portraits, it's a song we'd started writing immediately after we finished recording Path to Totality. I remember just being in the practice space and working on the riffs with our old bass player Carson, and the tempos were a lot different back then. It took about, I would say, a good year and a half to actually write that song completely. Went through a bunch of different changes, and parts got edited and taken out and rearranged, and tempos got played with and combined and changed and revised. Eventually, the version that was on the record you guys are listening to is the final Omega version of the song. Lyrically, that has to do more with dreams and nightmares. The idea of communication with other intelligence that you may be encountering on your journeys through the night side eclipse. I don't know if I necessarily believe that we communicate with anything during dreams, but it's an interesting idea to explore. That song refers to night and dreams and the sort of female element to things. I always associate going off to sleep with sort of female energy. That song embraces that idea. The track Seance was one of the songs I think encapsulates what our next step in our evolution in sound sort of represents. Like, that song is a little more aggressive. It's got, faster tempos and stuff that might have appeared on Path to Totality, and certainly songs we'd had on Winter Hours. And Winter Hours is definitely our slowest record. Seance particularly is maybe step one in the sort of direction that the band is going in currently, which is faster, a little bit more aggressive, yet still holding on to the texture and the atmosphere. The lyrics on that song, Seance, actually the title and the actual lyrical content really don't have anything to do with each other. Seance was a working title that we'd sort of put together, and it just sort of fit the vibe of the song. That title stuck. Once again, that song has to do with consciousness sort of leaving the body and journeying into a different realm, if that realm even exists, which is up for speculation. But the ideas of ceasing to exist is a heavy idea, which is expressed on this record. Death is not just going to sleep. It's not just the lights turning out. Even when I think of the void or blackness, like, that's something. But to completely cease to exist is an idea that I think frightens most people. The song has to do with that and the sort of comfort that humans sort of created, believe that we maybe go on to a different realm of existence or a different state of energy. So that song primarily deals with those types of ideas. What may or may not, exist beyond the borders of our existence.